Don Global presents the DG Recruit podcast on everything headhunting and recruitment. Achieve the life and career you envision. What's up, game changers? It's your host, Don, founder of Don Global, the headhunting and career coaching company helping you achieve the life and career you envision. In today's DG Recruit episode, I'll cover how to prepare for an interview with your recruitment firm as a new junior recruiter. So as there's been so much hiring going on in the recruitment space, all of these recruitment companies are desperately seeking young graduates and new talent who is coming into recruitment from other fields. So here are some pieces of advice for aspiring recruiters who are eager to interview for headhunting and recruitment jobs, who might not know exactly 100% what to say on that first call. So today's podcast on DG Recruit is going to walk you through what you should prepare for on the interview. Number one, first know what you're talking about. A lot of times people get confused between HR and recruitment. There's nothing more insulting to a headhunter than to call them HR. And I'll explain to you why. This topic actually deserves its own podcast, but I'm going to briefly go over it today. HR people are mainly administrative in their function. They survive off of a base salary. While recruitment is part of their job, they are not professional recruiters. Recruitment is only something they have to manage out of necessity of being the only department in an organization that's somewhat related to people. So unfortunately, HR is not always the best as recruitment to begin with. That's exactly why they have to oftentimes outsource recruitment and hiring to professional recruiters, which are headhunters. In the Don Global coachings, if you go on to Daily Don podcast, you'll hear more about the 4 hiring entities. In the space of headhunting, headhunters are one of the hiring entities. HR is another. The hiring manager is another hiring entity. And also an internal recruiter is another hiring entity. So all of these people are slightly different. Headhunters are what's known as recruiters as well, because we are a subset of recruitment. However, we are an external headhunter. We are an agency recruiter. That's another term you'll hear frequently when describing headhunting. We are called agency recruiters. And what this means is that we work at an agency. Most of us start off working at a firm, and the firm gives us training, gives us support, helps us become good at the job of headhunting. In return, we earn money for the firm, and the firm takes a nice cut of our profits. So in any given year, you will be earning a base salary, but you will be making your company hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those hundreds of thousands of dollars, you will get to see a good chunk of it, but your business will probably take a big chunk of it as well. And also, as you get more and more experienced, that's when your commission split will potentially go up, because now you've become a more valuable member of the team. You've made it past your first few years, and you are now earning the buku money, which is the 100K plus mark. That's not hard to achieve in recruitment. In fact, in recruitment, 100K is almost like totally achievable if you're at least 75 percentile for the second year in business. First year, you're probably making anywhere from 60 to about 80, and that's a solid, amazing performance. So let's go back to talking about what you know. Knowing that headhunters work a lot of times directly with hiring managers, because we cost money. Every time we make a placement with a client, that costs anywhere between $15,000 on the very low end, all the way up to potentially $60,000. Now, that is not a good amount of money if you are a corporation looking to save money. And what does HR like to do? They like to save money. In fact, they find it insulting that they couldn't fill the job themselves, and they're really pissed off that now they have to pay some young whippersnapper 60 grand. Okay, so HR does not like headhunters, and vice versa. We do not like HR, because first of all, we look down on HR jobs. HR jobs are paid very little. You know, you start off making anywhere from 45 to 50, and that is about half as much as what you could make as a really good headhunter. So we disdain them
from not only a financial standpoint, but also how much they try to block our success. HR is constantly trying to tell hiring managers not to work with us, to ignore us, and to avoid paying us our fees. In certain cases, we have been robbed in a certain way. They steal from us. One time I had an HR person who decided not to pay me and found some weird clause in the contract to say so. And because we were looking at the bigger picture of winning that account and continuing to have that account, we decided to not push the envelope. But that's a great example of HR being greedy to save a few $1,000s to screw us over. So HR and headhunting are two separate businesses, two separate careers, at least until they intersect, in the sense that if headhunters decide not to do headhunting anymore, they can go into HR, and vice versa. If HR prepares to go into the quote-unquote dark side of headhunting and join the other force that's making a lot more money for the same amount of time and effort, then they can come over too. But you have to make that clear in the interview process. If you are someone who has done HR and who has also done internal recruiting, but now want to do external agency recruiting, you got to tell us why. Because internal recruiting and HR is a sure thing. You get paid a fat salary. Whether you're good at the job or not, you'll still get paid. That is not the case when it comes to external headhunting. If you suck at sales, you won't make it far in our business at all. So what is your reason for moving into external recruiting? You're going to have to explain that to us. So number one, know what you're talking about. Make sure you're using the right terminology when you're telling people about why you decide to go into recruitment, meaning in this case, external recruitment, and which is equivalent to the term headhunting. So you got to explain that well and what you know about the business. Number two, you got to show us that you got some personality. Now in headhunting, you got to be engaging. Otherwise, your candidates and clients will find you boring and they will not talk to you. And if they do not interact with you, you cannot place them. In other words, you can't make money in the business. So you gotta be energetic. You gotta sound good. You gotta be smart and sharp. You also can't be a bumbling idiot, by the way. A lot of extroverts think that they will do great at sales and they're just like, I'm so good at sales. I'm the best. That's not being sharp. That's not being strategic. You got to give us good evidence to show us why you are a good fit, how you are a perseverant person, how you are resilient, how have you held yourself accountable. We want concrete examples. And because we're headhunters, we judge people for a living. So when we hire people, we will judge you as well. If you come in with all of these mumbo jumbo stories that don't make much sense, we will not be impressed and we'll call you out right away. Headhunters are direct communicators for the most part, and they will question you and they will get right to why and how and who. The best headhunters will not even think before they ask you the tough questions, because that's what we do for a living. So we're going to look for people who have a personality, who are engaging, who we can see are representing themselves well, because that extrapolates into becoming a good communicator for our clients and also for our candidates. So much of this job revolves around communication. So this is the part where we're looking for great communication skills. Number three, what we want to see is that you've made an actual commitment to recruitment as a career, or at least sales. We do not want to hear that you want stability and you want a humdrum job that pays out XYZ a year. Then in that case, go and get some other job. Go to HR, go somewhere else. We do not want people who are just in it for the base salary. Now, recruitment base salaries are fantastic and they will go up every year based on how good you do. On the low end, you have $35K. On the higher end, you have maybe $45K. So that's enough salary for most people to just live. We're worried about giving that salary to the wrong person, because if we waste our time hiring somebody who's going to leave within the next 4 to 5 months because they just wanted to test out recruitment, guess whose dollars they wasted? Our own, our hiring managers, our own companies, right? So we're going to be very, very picky and concerned about your commitment to our job. How seriously do you want it? You're going to have to give us, again, concrete examples of what you're willing to do. Now, let me tell you something else. I'm giving you a lot of help and a lot of coaching. This is to help you understand how to best sell yourself. However, it's not for people who are hoping to use my information to stab our industry in the back. If you do not really feel like you want to be a headhunter, do not lie to yourself, do not lie to us, and do not waste your time as well as our time. Because trust me, you will pay for it. Do not think for a minute that because my coaching materials are so helpful that you can actually get a job in this business and eke a living. Trust me, when you get to the job and you don't like it, or you don't do well, or you just did it for a short-term need, you will be making a huge mistake. Don't do that. I've seen so many people do that, and it's a total waste of time, and they embarrass themselves. In fact, they're usually the worst of the worst. People who do this, I think, are really the worst people in the world. Do not use the system against us. Use this to help you move yourself forward if you truly believe in what headhunting is as an industry, because we welcome you with open arms. So lastly, if you truly are passionate about recruitment, then we want you to get involved. We want you to push yourself, and we want to see that you're interviewing at a number of companies. That's the last piece of advice. So if you're already looking at one, you should be looking at more than one. That will help you be a better interviewer. It'll help you learn more about our industry. It'll help you also meet more managers so that you can decide which manager you feel comfortable learning under. So in another episode, I will talk about what to look out for when you're interviewing for headhunting jobs. What are the most important factors that you should consider when interviewing for a headhunting job? Right now, I hope this was enough to give you enough information on what to expect on your interview process and what you need to do to prepare for your interviews.
I hope DG Recruit is helping you understand the realities, challenges, and opportunities when it comes to headhunting and recruitment. Whether you're already a top biller or an aspiring headhunter, I'd love to get to know you. Sign up at donnaglobal.com to stay in touch on all aspects of career coaching and headhunting. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll see you there. Thanks for tuning in to DG Recruit. This has been a production of Donna Global.